a morning prayer for y'all.
Ineffable Creator, who from the treasures of your wisdom have established the hierarchies of angels, have arrayed them in marvelous order above the fiery heavens, and have marshaled the regions of the universe with such artful skill. You proclaim the true font of light and wisdom, and the primal origin raised high beyond all things. Pour forth the ray of your brightness into the darkened places of my mind. Disperse from my soul the twofold darkness into which I was born, sin and ignorance. You make eloquent the tongues of infants, refine my speech and pour forth upon them
A morning prayer for y'all.
Ineffable Creator, who from the treasures of your wisdom have established the hierarchies of angels, have arrayed them in marvelous order above the fiery heavens, and have marshaled the regions of the universe with such artful skill. You proclaim the true font of light and wisdom, and the primal origin raised high beyond all things. Pour forth the ray of your brightness into the darkened places of my mind. Disperse from my soul the twofold darkness into which I was born, sin and ignorance. You make eloquent the tongues of infants, refine my speech and pour forth upon my lips the goodness of your blessing. Grant to me keenness of mind, capacity to remember, skill in learning, subtlety to interpret, and eloquence in speech. May you guide the beginning of my work, direct its progress, and bring it to completion. You are true God and true man, who live and reign, world without end. Amen. Amen.
Have a great day.
Woke up with my head under pressure so high, hiding all night, hiding behind my tired eyes. Coffee's cold, the silence loud. heavier than before. I reached for light but found the gray. Just one of those paper soul days. Some days I feel like I can't fly. Other days I feel so fragile. The shadows and days of that shine. So I choose someone who could fly. But I picked up my pencil, scratched the page, gave wings to a figure outside the cage, a heroine born from all our life, drawn strength I can't get back. Some days I feel like I can't fly. Other days I feel so fragile. The shadows and days of day shine. So I choose someone who could fly. Maybe I break so I can bend. Maybe the cracks let the light in. I'm not always strong, but I am real. And that's the kind of power I feel. Some days I feel like I can't fly. The other days I feel so fragile. The shadows and days of day I shine. So I choose someone who can fly. For a moment I could touch the sky. Lifted from these feelings I can fly. When life again comes around to drag me down, I reach for my pencil and turn it around. Tempted by your devil's kiss, promising.
All right, y'all.
A morning prayer.
Mic's up. Woo. All right, and I'm going to mute myself on the big channel so that I don't get distracted by my own voice, because that always drives me crazy. Apologize if my voice isn't quite as good as usual. I am a bit still under the weather, but we're getting back to work on our cityscape. Or at least that's where we're starting. We may wander off the reservation and choose to do something different later. I may get bored with the cityscape because, I don't know, it's not bad, but it's definitely not the best thing I've ever done. We are having an embrace the suck night for sure. And you can thank Ubi there in chat for embrace the suck. That is his mantra that he constantly reminds us. It's okay to suck every now and then. We all do. One of the things I guess I was looking at around town, noticing that this just has too much regularity to it. It's too samey for me. And I think that's part of why I'm not really crazy about it. Kind of want a little more variation, so I think I'm going to add some to it. Just do a little connecting of those buildings. It's always one of those things where you're trying to create a feeling of something real when you're not really. It's not. It's not real, but still want the viewer to feel like it is, or like it could be. So I can shut the windows off for now. Yep. That window, that window. And that window. And we can just go in behind here. Give this foreground a little bit of different look to it. Symmetry is good. Too much symmetry is boring. So it doesn't give the eye enough variation. You're live every Wednesday night at 6. Outdoorsy YouTube channel, mostly hunting, fishing, but anything outdoors. Yeah, I think that's what I've got is the sinus crapola that's going around. It's kind of awful. I hate being sick as a general rule. I especially hate it when it's my sinuses acting up. And there's not much I can do about it. This channel is actually in the process of transformation. What I'm turning it into, it's been kind of a hodgepodge, but what I am actually working on turning it into is a virtual creative arts retreat and rehabilitation center. So basically, people can come here and, get help with almost any kind of creative venture they've got going on. And making the most of their gifts and their talents. It's my goal. Whether I shall succeed in that or not remains yet to be seen, but it is my goal. There's this whole long thing I've been on. I wanted to build basically a brick and mortar retreat and rehabilitation center, but I'm not made out of money, and I spent months, trying to figure out a solution. And gotta love God. He was like, yeah, well, why don't you use your YouTube channel? Just work with what you got. I was like, okay, that's smart. I don't know why I didn't think of it. So that's the short gist of the story. I really like the way that's looking. Hey, Malachi! So mostly, right now, I've been doing art on Mondays and writing on Saturdays. I've started to do real talk on Thursdays. And periodically adding a few other things here and there. But, maybe doing some more changing up of the channel. Just trying to make it a better place for people. Yeah, bat signal in the sky for sure. Does seem to need a superhero, doesn't it? That's nice. Kind of like that. That broke up that sameness to it, which is exactly what I wanted. I was hating the way it was looking. Like everything was just one big repeat. And it's not bad to have tiling, but when it's too regular, it really does do something negative to the thing. At any rate, maybe I'm not making much sense, but it drives me crazy. Oh, I bet, yeah, this would be great, actually. Sorry, sometimes I don't talk in complete sentences. I have thoughts, and I did not finish them. I apologize in advance for that. It's kind of like almost like a castle type thing. Hmm? I didn't hear it. If anybody else did, they didn't say so. Indiana, huh? That is the stomping grounds of my grandmother, her family. It's where they were originally from. Old Mad Hatter over there, Mr. Malachi, he is a Vermont boy. I really kind of like this building in the center now. I'm glad I kind of messed around with it a little bit. Sometimes that's what you need to do. Just if you're not happy with where something's going, just keep playing with it until you are. Don't be afraid to erase and start over if you gotta. Severe ADHD, you understand? Yeah, I think a lot of us are, of my generation anyway. I'm Gen X, so I think a lot of us got that attention issues. I mean, could also be just that our brains work a little faster than most people's. I actually, it really, when I was younger, I used to really confuse people. They were like, I don't know how you got here from there when we were in this conversation, right? And it would be really frustrating because my brain would go from A to Z, and they would have no idea how I got where I was in the conversation when I spoke up. And so then I learned to trace my thought process better, which actually makes me a really good teacher because it means I have a better way of breaking down processes and explaining them to other people. Here's how we got there. And so what was a handicap for a while, namely not being able to keep coherently into a conversation, became an asset rather than a liability. That's nice. Kind of like that. Kind of funky, but I like it. And sometimes I start these things and I have no idea where they're going. None whatsoever. So you're finding out right along with me as to where this particular drawing is headed, because I have no plan and no preparation. Sometimes that's what makes the best art. And you're a 34 millennial. Aw, you're just a couple years younger than my little sister. That's cute. Totes adorbs. Oop, not quite what I had in mind. Here we go. Give some light, but not a lot of it. Alright, now that we got that middle ground and that very distinctive building there, which kind of broke up our sameness, which I'm happy about. Come back in over here. Clean up some of this. Ba-doop boop. Doot doot. Yeah, I think I will. Well, I hope you stick around. This is a pretty friendly crew around here. And I like people, so I'm always happy to see new faces. Whoop! That was not what I intended. Oh, I hate it when it does that. Rotates the canvas. Need to figure out how I managed to do that. So I can unrotate it. I guess it kind of looks like a postcard now. It's great. It's not exactly what I had in mind, but fantastic. Good gravy. Hold tight while I try to figure this out. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay. Oh, definitely not that. I need to get off of that, so I stopped doing that. Well, we're gonna save this and get out of it because I'm not sure how to fix it for the moment, and I don't want to make it worse. Yep. All right. And in honor of our new friend here, we're gonna do something else. I was working on that cityscape, but it wasn't exactly doing me any favors. 3840. Is it 2160? Is the 4K resolution is what we're gonna put this into. Yeah, 4K by 2160. Okay, so 2160. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, me too. I'm definitely down to make new friends. Let's put in the chat. What do you think we should make? Let's see. Mountains. What kind of scene? Mountains. Mountains are one of my favorite. Forest. Waterfall, that's another favorite. Ocean. And we'll give you the choice. You guys pick the scene. Ooh, forest. Okay. Ooh, forest castle. That would be a possibility. Okay. All right. Well, I got one vote and then I got one statement. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to combine, which is something I like to do. If I got multiple votes and I'm can to combine, then let's, by all means, make as many people happy as possible. Winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you gotta do is call. No, I got a cold, so. Oh! You did get a vote there. You did, buddy. You typed in a castle. So, you got your vote. Can't say you didn't get one. In the fall, huh? Alright. Do that. Let's get started. I'm gonna come over here and put in just a layer of paint. It's simple. This is not how we're gonna finish things, but this is where we're gonna start. Just so that I've got the foreground and the background divided. So I'm gonna give more attention to the day. Oop, not what I wanted. Okay, there we go. With a stream? Yeah. Oh, did it again, somehow. Ugh! Gotta figure out what is causing it to do this. Because it's driving me nuts. And I'm not happy about that. I guess I get to start over again. Computers are very good at doing exactly what you ask them to, which can be a really annoying trait for them to have. When what you asked them to do, you didn't mean to ask them to do, and you don't know how to undo what you asked them to do. Alright. We're just gonna give it. Why am I doing that? That's so silly. I know better than that. Play around. Be goober. Yeah. Paint bucket. Actually, a fellow who built a huge castle in Georgia, Vermont, which is only 6 miles from your house. Yep. There was one built in Texas, too. There's a huge one in California. I've never been to it, but my mom had. Can you imagine having the kind of money it takes to build a castle? I mean, really, seriously? That's the kind of money. I run around town, you build whatever you want. Of course, if I had that kind of money, I don't think that's what I'd be spending it on, but you never know. I would probably build a castle, but it'd be a small one. Alright. Now that we got our stuff back, let's work. Okay. So this is obviously not really, this is just a place to begin. And if you hear me sniffling, I'm not upset. I just happen to have a cold. Which really stinks because, you know, the whole breathing thing, I kind of like it. I've become attached to it. It's really annoying when I can't. I'm practicing really bad art habits right now. Yeah. I'm using Photoshop. Just with a drawing tablet. So sketching out what I got, and then I'll come and add layers of detail to it. Like the actual leaves and stuff. You know, it's so funny. When I was growing up in Texas, North Texas, I thought we had a lot of trees where we lived. I really did. And then I went and I visited the South as a younger woman, and I discovered we did not have a lot of trees. And our trees were pretty stunty. Oh my goodness, it was such a difference. Those forests are just so pretty and so full. And the trees go up so high. It's just crazy. And you just I'm you know, it's really beautiful there. And everybody always says we're overcrowded in this country, and they probably haven't visited many places as I have, because I can promise you this country is nowhere near overcrowded. There's whole places you can go miles and miles and miles without ever meeting a single soul that is not crowded. When you can go more than 5 hours without there being a populated city, you are not in a crowded place. It's just that our cities tend to be super crowded because everybody wants the jobs that are there. They don't want to move out into the country. And that's part of our problem. That's where we get the overcrowded feel. When everybody's clamoring to be in the same place. And I get it. It's more convenient to live in a city than it is to live in the country. Depending on what you're doing, of course. But we have plenty of room. We just need to use it better. As a matter of fact, I lived in Wyoming, and it's so funny. In Wyoming, the number of antelope to the number of people is a ratio of 5 antelope for every one person that lives there. There was a town called Bill, and I swear it was just one building was all that you saw of Bill. And then the buffalo that were out there, and I'm like, dude, this dude must have paid the census taker to count the buffalo as people, because there is nobody in this place. And it was crazy. But there's a lot of America that's like that. Just nobody lives there. Just except the animals. It's just you got to get out of the city to see it. Got to travel a little more. As long as you have a vehicle for traveling, you'd rather live in the countryside than the city. I agree with that. I agree with that. There's a lot to be said for living in the country. Problem is having a vehicle that works. And there are a lot of disadvantages to living in the country too. Is you need medical care, you better hope you don't live in the country, because you may not have access to it. We used to live in this town called Elko, Nevada, and if you haven't heard of it, don't feel bad. Nobody else has either. It's a great little town, though. I loved it. Except when it came to medical care. If you needed some serious medical care, you had better hope you could get yourself to Salt Lake City in a hurry. Because they were not that good about handling it where we were. And, yeah. I'm just doing really loose, sketchy stuff right now. Time to do some sketchy stuff. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. All the doo-dah day. Ask me, sketchy. Doing sketchy stuff. I do love a good forest, though. There's nothing quite as magical as walking in a forest, you know? And it's just you and the trees and the wildlife, and you don't even really hear much of the city coming through. Maybe not any of it. And it's just like being in a different time. I guess kind of the equivalent of time travel in a way. I do love that. I mean, Iowa has pretty good forests. We just don't have the ability to take the time to go visit them a lot. Got so much going on here. But maybe sometime over the summer. Pack up, get to the lake, do some camping. I don't know. Getting a little old for that sometimes, I think. I'm gonna sketch in kind of a trail for this little forest. I should put that on its own layer. What am I doing? You listed in the countryside 2000 to 2002 on a mountain terrain in Fairfax. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. We have lived in a lot of country places. We lived at one point in time just outside of Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is pretty country. I mean, in Laurel and Petal. I worked in Laurel. We lived in Petal, which is tinier. Hard to believe, so tiny. There we go. Put that path down there. Pathway. And we're going to sketch out our little tower at the base of that. Y'all asked for a castle, and we shall deliver. That's me. Special delivery. We need that to be darker. Darker, but not too dark. Let's look for a gray, a nice solid gray. Oh, that's good. Focal time. Yeah, there we go. Something in the... Well, there we go. That's more of it. Yeah, there we go. Gotta give the base of that tower. I'm just gonna sketch out a shape for our little castle here. I'm not being precise by any means of the imagination. Just giving myself a rough feel for where that castle would be and maybe what its shape would be. Towers in the distance. You flesh those out later. It just gives me an idea of what to block out. I'm being super sloppy with the work that I'm doing right now because it's a rough sketch, so hold on to your panties. It gets better, I promise. Now the question about this castle, is it a currently standing castle? Or is it maybe partially ruined? Like maybe the reason there's a forest around it is that it's overgrown and is no longer an inhabited castle. Because that certainly would change the vibe of it. Bring that smudge up a little bit. Partially ruined? I like that idea. There we go. Now she's smudging around pretty good. I like the smudge tool because it looks more like a blended oil than just a straight pigment. So it kind of gives me a more color variation, which makes it look somewhat more realistic, at least in my estimation. Okay. Oh, I see what's going on. That's why. Okay, so let's mess with the path layer. See, in nature, there are no hard lines. Everything is somewhat blurred. The only thing that gives you the illusion of hard lines is how much shadow is falling. So, when you want to make something look more realistic, you kind of play around with that. Add darker shadows where you want it to pop, and blur it out more. Blend it in, bludge it. Bludge it? Oh. Blur it. Blurs and blends and things like that make things look more natural. Add a little bit of black to give us more shadow, but I'm going to make it small. It's not a whole big lot of it, just giving us those distinguishing features. Alright. And y'all mentioned at some point in time that we want a little brook running through here, which we will happily add to our equation. One little babbling brook coming up. I, too, like a good natural stream. One of the things that I do know about civilizations and things like that is that did tend to build not too far from the water. It would help if I would actually choose the pigment instead of the blur when I'm trying to do this. Let's go down and pick more of that oil. I like that look to it. We're going to drop down the size of the brush a bit. Not documenting the mod stone with the cache peckered pickguard fitted for a humbucker. Well, you know, sometimes we forget that stuff. I agree, it can be frustrating when you work really hard to do something. You realize you haven't documented it. But could be worse, I suppose. Were you planning to use it for channel content? Stuck in the moment you forgot to record it? Yeah, I've been there. I've done that, totally. Got caught up in what I was doing and forgot completely to actually record the video. It's very frustrating. Here. Yeah. Oh man, it did it. Jeez, what am I doing that makes it turn that way? That's frustrating. Just gonna have to figure that out. But I'm gonna keep going for now, rather than allowing it to stop me this time. It'll just be a postcard from the kingdom. Must be something I'm touching. So I do have it. This is a touchpad, so some of the settings must be turning on. Without me intending to. Yeah. Postcards from the kingdom, man. Kingdom of naught. Everything in my life is going slightly sideways lately, so I guess this is entirely appropriate for this stream. The not quite what I had in mind stream. Lord of mercy. Oh no, not that color at all. Yeah. Yeah, the creating with love. Definitely. That is the kingdom we're working on here. Love for ourselves, love for our neighbor. Patience when things don't go well or don't seem to have gone well quite the way we wanted them to. Which lately seems to be happening a lot. Oh my goodness. I guess it's just God inviting me to have patience with the process. Patience. It's not my strong suit. But I'm getting there. Learning to accept that the answers don't come right when I want them to, but they do eventually come. I'm usually the better for having waited. Well, that's not bad. I can now turn my attention back to trees. Yep. Well, my kingdom is definitely partly in ruins, man. That's for sure. Since I feel like my whole life is partly in ruins. Today was one of those days. I know that's probably not an accurate assessment. Darned if it doesn't feel like it. It's alright, though. We all have our days. I suppose when things just don't feel like they went like they should have. It's not that anything in particular bad happened. It's just how I'm feeling at the moment. Frustration, I suppose. With life, with myself. And it's just good to have art to draw. Get all that out of me. Give myself permission to create a train wreck for a little while. But I didn't plan on. Oh, thank you, Malachi. I appreciate it. I can always use prayers. I don't think there's ever a time in the world when I can't. I am such a hot mess. Well, sometimes a little hot is temperature, not necessarily the look. We're past the days of being that. Oh, am I? Yeah, I am. Forgetting to take my layers apart. Come on, Mr. Tree. You need to get yourself on your own layer. Yeah, take you off that other layer. By having them on their own separate layers, I can manipulate them more easily. Whoop! Not that. You, tree boy, come here. There you go. That's where you need to be. No, I have the sniffles hardcore. I'm totally congested. If not for the cold and flu medicine that I had taken, I would be even in worse shape. I'm pretty sure that sickness is not helping my state of mind any at all. making it harder for me to focus on things that I need to do. Hard to think clearly when your head's congested. Right now I need to be thinking as clearly as possible, but no, my body decides, hey, now it's a great time to fall sick. Ha ha ha! Cute trick that. I shouldn't give myself such a hard time. It's not like it's purposeful. But can feel like it. Timing is lousy. You know, I've lived through worse. So, does it suck to be sick? Yes, but we gotta embrace that suck, right? Give it a bear hug and welcome it into the family like it's a friend of yours. I guess sometimes it is a friend of ours. It's reminding us, hey, life's short, take breaks. Stop worrying about everything in the world. You can't control it all anyway. I very much relate to Martha in the gospel. I tend to be somebody who's very much focused on getting things done. And sometimes that means I miss out on important things because I'm too intently absorbed with trying to get stuff done to actually pay attention to the people around me. So sometimes it takes me being sick to slow down, pay attention to what really matters, stop worrying about things I can't control, and take charge of things that I can. Is that serenity prayers? You know, Lord, give me the grace to surrender the things I cannot control, take charge of the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I botched that one, and I know I did. It's more than that, but that's the gist of it anyway. Yeah, not as bad as you'd think. I mean, I don't think I've had a really sizable cold for a while. It doesn't feel like anyway, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's just my perspective on things. You may be right, Malachi. I don't. Well, I appreciate any prayers I can get, to be perfectly honest. Some of it may just be stress. Quite a bit of it. I kind of like this tree over here. Did not sketch on that. Remember which tree I'm working on. Been working for you for quite a while. You haven't been sick. Well, I actually, though, Malachi, I do have a, school-aged kid that I regularly associate with, and you know, kids, kindergarten, pre-K and kindergarten, they are just nothing but cold magnets, cold and flu magnets. So social distancing wouldn't help in our case, I don't think, just because of the nature of our how things work in our life. I'm not going to social distance from my granddaughter. And I'm not going to mask up around her either. If I get sick, I get sick. It's more important to me that she be loved on. And it's good for your immune system to get exposed to things every now and then. Otherwise, your immune system loses the ability to fight off disease. It's kind of like, you know, if you never engaged in any martial arts fights, you wouldn't be much of a martial arts fighter. Kind of be wimpy. Look what that tree looks like in isolation. It's kind of a funky tree, isn't it? Yeah. We need to do something with this dude. This little tree of mine, we're gonna fix you up. This little tree of ours, we're gonna fix you up. Singing to a fake tree. Sweet as that. School-age kids are just magnets for getting sick in general. It's not their fault. Bless those little babies. They just don't have the immune system built up to fight it off. And it's only by getting sick a whole bunch that they get that immune system. And of course, when they're sick, you're gonna get sick. So you're all gonna be sick. One giant sick party. It's the price we pay for loving our babies. And I think it's a worthwhile price to pay. It'll just be a mother tree. Oh, no. No worries about that, Malachi. I don't expect you to remember everything about our lives. We barely remember everything about our lives. Yeah. I guess when it comes down to it, that's the thing of it. We probably have been sick quite a bit over the last year, but it's largely due to exposure to one young little girl. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would a million times over rather get sick for her sake than stay well and not see her. This is going to be one giant mother tree. Now there's always that one tree in the forest that just dominates everybody else. Well, this is going to be that tree. Older than the hills. Alright, we'll turn the other trees back on. See what we got going. And maybe we'll move one of them to another area. Well, if you're not up and up close and personal with me every day, I don't expect y'all to remember. She's She's a darling to me, but you know what? I also get it. She is not everybody else's life. She is my life, meaning, but that is as it should be. Yeah, that's better. I kind of like how that is letting more light through the other trees now. Not so much scrunching things up. Yeah, that's better. Not great, but it's better. And if I don't like this tree, I can always play with it later and make it look even better. Yeah. Well, I don't know about being Brandy Gross, but you know, occasionally I manage to amuse a few people with what I do. Stop. Go away. Thank you. Occasionally. Although, I'll admit, he was such a hero of mine. I loved watching the Bob Ross show back when it was on TV. Uh, why are you not drawing? Thank you. Behave yourself. Thank you. Figure your stuff out. Don't be a weenie. Yep. He was definitely somebody I admired to death because, you know, he was so good at it. He just made it look so natural and so easy. And I definitely loved watching him work. I wanted to emulate that kind of ease with the paintings. Oh, you're so sweet. Well, I am sick, so my taste buds probably are mixed up. Very appropriate. Yes, yes, he did make it look, you know, but that's the thing about mastery. It's like once you get really good at something, you do make it look easy. And in a way, that's what makes it magical is watching somebody who is a master perform their craft. And you're like, wow, just, you know, and you feel like maybe you could never do that. And the truth is, you could, but do you want to invest the kind of time that they invested getting to where they are? Because the truth is, most people don't. Most people have other things they want to be doing with their lives. But it takes that kind of time investment, that kind of effort investment That's why I wrote the book, I Wish I Could Draw Like That, because people used to come by and they would watch me working on my art and they'd be like, oh, I wish I could draw like that. I'm like, you can. How many hours a day do you put into it? How much time and energy and how much investment do you put into learning? You know, that's what determines whether you're good or not. I don't put anywhere near the amount of time that Bob Ross did. Because I got other things going on in my life. And I'll be the first to be honest about that. Yes, as my husband says, embrace the suck. If you want to be good at something, you got to be willing to embrace that suck hardcore. Because it is going to suck. A lot of it's going to suck. And it's definitely not going to be the thing that you want it to be right away. Well, thank you, Malachi. I do appreciate that. I enjoy painting in front of you guys. I enjoy having you guys around when I'm doing it. I mean, it gives me an excuse to practice my art for about, hour and a half or so a day, or during the day, and not feel guilty about it, like I should be doing something else, because usually I do have like 50 million other things I'm supposed to be working on, but I'm not doing because I'm doing this. But I think really that's the thing. I also want everybody to be encouraged. If you don't feel you're very good today, it's okay. Embrace that suck. Just try it. Just give your drawing a chance. You're probably gonna suck at first, and that's okay. I still suck in a lot of ways, but every time I do one of these, I get a little bit better. A little bit more capable of doing things. And I learn things. Even from failed attempts. Even from things that didn't work. I learn. I grow. And that's the whole point. Learning and growing. Alright, folks. We're going to call that a stream for tonight. Now, oh, hey, Lori. Well, I was going to call it a stream. That's okay. I appreciate you coming in, Lori, so much. Appreciate you sending people my way. That was very sweet of you. It does mean a lot to me. My husband's going to be starting his stream here in about 15 minutes. So I am going to stick it out for just a little bit longer, but then I'll be popping over into his stream. He is the Ubi. If you like live music, just imagine your favorite dive bar. BYOB, bring your own beverage of choice. He's really good at guitar. And we've got an awesome crowd, group of people that hang out there. So we're building a forest scene here. So I'm just blocking in trees right, left, and center. There's a castle in the background. But it's a ruined castle, we decided. So right now, it's just there sketched in the distance. And my canvas is all wonky because I must have touched a setting somewhere and can't figure out how to fix that. So that's the honest truth. This is as far as we got today. But we wanted to do kind of an outdoorsy scene. So we'll add stuff to it next time. Oh, forest castle. That's what we'll call it. Now, if you guys would like access to the files themselves, like PNG files, I will give you those. Just let me know. And I can, you guys want to email. Not trying to, but I am succeeding. Just email me and ask for the files, and I'll be more than happy to send you the PNG files, and you guys can play around with what. I'm probably going to set this up on Gumroad so that you guys can eventually, so that you guys can take any of the art you want that we create together during these streams, because this is interactive, so it's not just me creating. You guys are making contributions as we go. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up so I have a chance to get myself something to drink and do a little bit of messing around in the background, helping Ray to get ready and everything. But thank you guys for joining me. I definitely appreciate you having you. Appreciate you? Yes, I do appreciate you. I appreciate having you here. Easy for me to say. And I will see you Thursday. I am doing another Real Talk session. It's just me talking about life, the universe, and everything. Any topic is open for discussion. You're more than welcome to pop in, kick your shoes off. Let's talk. It's a no BS zone, even though my initials were BS when I was born. And then Saturday is my writing and chatting. So if you ever get a chance to pop over there,